Hello everyone, I'm with me, and today we're going to be talking about depression. Now, I could go on psychiatry.org and tell you what it says on there, but I actually wanted to look a little more in depth at depression. I didn't want to just go to some website and read about it and be like, alright, let me rewrite this. I want to actually find something that I believe is worth more, that I believe has more credibility than just a website. So I ended up finding this peer-reviewed article that I think will explain depression a bit better than psychiatry.org will. To give you a brief summary, the article provided an excellent description. Major depression is a common illness that severely limits psychosocial functioning and diminishes the quality of life. In 2008, WHO ranked major depression as the third cause of burden of disease worldwide and projected that the disease will rank first by 2030. The depression is described as episodic in this article, meaning that people have bouts of depression that vary in how long they are. The article explains that statistically, almost 1 in 5 people experience an episode of depression at one point in their lives. Being depressed isn't actually linked to your social status. Looking at this quote, the 12-month prevalence of the major depressive disorder is similar when comparing high-income countries, 5 to 5%, with low-income and middle-income countries, 5 to 9%, indicating that major depressive disorder is neither a simple consequence of modern-day lifestyle in developed countries nor poverty. The article does say that those factors can impact depression, but that they aren't the underlying cause. The underlying cause is actually biological factors. A surprising amount of people experience an episode of major depression before they even hit the age of 20. About 40% of people experience it. That's a lot. There are also differences in the genders. Apparently, major depression in women is twice as common than it is in men. I quote, "The difference in prevalence of depression between men and women is referred to as the gender gap in depression and is thought to be linked to sex differences in susceptibility, biological and psychological, and environmental factors that operate on both the micro level and macro level. Although depression usually occurs gradually, sometimes it can turn up unannounced right at your doorstep. This is because depression is very unpredictable. Even when you're having an episode of depression, you can't really predict how long it will last. Major depression affects you throughout a lifetime. This doesn't mean that you can't get rid of it, though. The article explains, major depressive disorder is a recurrent lifelong illness, and so recovery is somewhat of a misnomer. In practice, the term is used to describe patients that are no longer symptomatic and have regained their usual function following an episode of major depression. With treatment, episodes last about 3 to 6 months, and most patients recover within 12 months. The article explains even further that in a community setting with doctors and physicians, recovery is more probable. Not everyone gets 12 months and then suddenly feel better. It's not how it works. Longer term, which is about 2 to 3 years, the proportion of people who recover is much less, dropping to approximately 60% at 2 years, 40% at 4 years, and 30% at 6 years, with comorbid anxiety having a key role in limiting recovery. The likelihood of recurrence is high. The risk increases with every episode, and almost 80% of patients experience at least one further episode in their lifetime. Damn, and I thought 40% was a high number. Sadly, 27% of patients with major depression do not recover and may end up developing a chronic depressive illness. With that fact out of the way, let's look at some symptoms that help diagnose depression. What's most interesting to note about these symptoms is that sleep and diet can go up or down. That means less sleep or more sleep are signs of depression. That also shows that eating less or eating more are symptoms of depression too. To actually diagnose someone, let's look at this quote. For a diagnosis of major depressive disorder, the individual needs to present with 5 or more of any of these symptoms nearly every day during the same 2-week period, provided at least one of these symptoms is a fundamental one. The fundamental symptoms are shown on the chart. Having a depressed mood and or having anhedonia, which basically means having a hard time experiencing pleasure, are the fundamental symptoms that show if you're depressed or not. I have said that I may have had depression. The reason why I don't like to say that I have depression or that I had depression was that I was never diagnosed with depression. But looking at the symptoms and thinking back on when I thought I was depressed, it really makes me think, wow, I must have actually been depressed. And during that time, I was at a really low point in my life, so even if I wasn't depressed, something else was going on. Really, I was in a depressed mood, most if not all the time. Anytime I'd get in a really low mood and I'm like trying to listen to music, for example, I keep changing the songs, but I don't like any of the songs. Like I'm like, this song, nope, don't like it. This song, nope, don't like it. And I do that like 20 times until finally I'm like, I don't think I'm in the mood for music. And then when I try to do something else, I realized I wasn't in the mood for anything. And I just kind of sat down for a really long time. I don't know if that had anything to do with having a hard time experiencing pleasure. Maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I was not diagnosed with depression. I wanted to get a psychology degree, but I ended up changing my major because keeping a 3.5 GPA is fucking hard. So props to those who've managed to accomplish getting a degree in the medical field, because that shit is hard. Also, during when I had that really low point in my life, I did have suicidal thoughts, and I like envied dying. Like I wanted to die. I cannot stress this enough. I was not diagnosed, so I really don't have any idea if it was actually depression I was experiencing. Though looking at the symptoms, it makes me feel like, yeah, I was experiencing depression. And also during the weekends, I could sleep at 9 and wake up at 12. Like it didn't matter. It was strange. Now, picture of the week. Oh boy, I've been really excited to share this one. So this meme, it's a bit old. It kind of just showed up and then disappeared. The head that is shown in the meme shows up on other memes. But it's one of my favorite memes of all time. It's so stupid. It made me laugh so hard. Ah yes, enslaved moisture. This should have won meme of the decade. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like if you did. Let me know if you want more content like this. Patreon down in the description below if you want to support the channel even more. Patrons get the video a day early. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye.